Hello and welcome to our podcast, Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm Lauren. And I'm Michelle. And we're so excited you stopped by for a visit. Come on in. Yeah, make yourself at home. We're two Midwestern sisters who love a good old-fashioned conversation and enjoy sharing our life experiences with one another and you. Consider this your one-stop shop for cozy, mindful well-being, along with some entertainment and lots of wheezy laughing. Oh, you bet there'll be a lot of that going around. Our goal is to live our coziest life and inspire you to do the same because the truth is, we think it's good for your mind and your body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get cozy. Well, it's just Michelle and I here at Cozy Conversations with the Sister
Usually
Project.
how it is.
Welcome one and welcome all. So happy to be here.
Always. 2 in 1 week.
Yeah,
Favorite part of the job.
Double header.
Favorite part of the job.
You guys, welcome to Cozy Convos. This is your little space on the internet where you come for cozy conversations where you'll learn a little and laugh a lot. We call this some infotainment, if you will. It's leisure. Get your shit done. Get all those laundry baskets you got to fold and press play.
Love it.
Okay, you guys. So we just wanted to thank all of you for writing in reviews. We've had some really good ones up until this point, and you know who you are. The threats.
Get on it.
And, like I'll talk to some of our listeners too. And oftentimes some of our listeners who know, and I don't keep track, but they'll be like, oh, and I promised to write a review. It's like, listen, I love you, Beth. That's you. Devin, that's you. You guys, listen, I know one day you'll get to it. We're busy. This is not top priority. It's if you find yourself thinking about it one day. But the fact that you remember and you bring it up sometime, it warms my heart. But what matters most is your press and play, baby. Press and play.
You're like the Kim Cattrall of cozy conversations.
I mean, that's all that matters. I mean, listen, a review is great, but you're listening to the podcast of all the podcasts in the world to listen to.
Millions,
Thank you.
Millions, by the way. Thank you. We really do appreciate it because it is, like I said, our favorite thing to do.
It's so fucking fun. You guys, we've got a great episode for you today. Reminder, our merch line sales close on April 14th. Okay, so get your merch. I'm liking the size larges in the unisex. Michelle's going a little bit smaller. So just, reach out to us if you've got questions on sizing because we can help you one and all.
And also you do you, just do you.
Yeah. If you want baggy, go large. And if you want skin tight, go small, whatever. You do you. And then we've got a wonderful episode, you guys, filled with so much today. So buckle up, enjoy the ride, and stay cozy.
I feel like I'm channeling. Is his name Jim Harbaugh? He's the head coach for Michigan. He's the football coach. No. He always wears like a flat brimmed hat and his glasses.
I'm into it. Is that Williams' hat?
It is.
I like that hat.
And they're going to give me so much shit for meat riding and glazing.
What is meat riding?
Ass kissing.
Is that kissing. Meat riding? I don't know if that's. Is that?
I'm scared to know.
Wait.
So far,
why did you? Who says meat riding?
The children. You're meat riding.
I've got a different definition to meat riding.
Look it up.
I'm going to
look it up.
Is this is a new slang?
Yeah, these are more words.
I mean,
I know, Lauren. I've thought about the terminology, and I've said children. I said children. I'm your mom, and they say,
well, nobody's getting. Okay, no, you're right. No, it just means
we're all just a bunch
flattery.
Of yeah.
I mean, let's be meat riding though. I mean, that's quite someone who acts overly obsessed with someone else and pretty much praises them.
Literally, that's what I'm doing about Caitlin Clark right at this very moment. So
you're meat riding her
all day, all night.
Oh golly, I think I like flattery, just that word better.
Yeah, flattery is a better word. Not going to lie. Meat riding is horrific. Horrific.
How did they turn meat riding into, I mean, wow.
Well, we can
the times have changed.
They have.
Little Kim would say something different about meat riding.
Would she know? Would she more of
when I was growing up, I remember how many licks does it, that
take
song?
To get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Yeah, but hers was a little different. I think.
Wait,
Little Kim.
Are you talking about the Tootsie Pop commercial or are you talking about a song Little Kim sang?
Do you remember? Well, I guess my question first here is, do you remember Little Kim's song?
No, I don't. I mean, if I hear
this is a very inappropriate song, but we're just going to get it started for you. Okay, this was one of my favorite old schools. How about that?
I already know why I've never listened to it.
Oh, wait. Here we go. I like this part. Here we go. And then it gets dirty. Okay, I had to stop it there because that is when it just turns into a lot of meat. It goes into a lot of meat riding.
Well, people were listening to Lil' Kim. I was listening.
You were listening to the Indigo Girls.
I was listening to the Indigo Girls and Bonnie Raitt. Okay,
I loved Bonnie Raitt though.
Loved Bonnie Raitt.
Still love.
Worship. She's meat ride her all night long.
Oh. Okay, you have taken it to the different level.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get back to the level.
Get back to the show.
I'm getting back to my notes.
Get back to the show.
Yeah, Lil' Kim. That was. I remembered knowing so many of those lyrics. I shouldn't have. So I wanted to just say that I'm pretty sure, like yesterday, I went and got a manicure with Tom, the gentleman that's been doing my silver.
What is his name? Say it
Tom.
the way it's Tom.
Tom.
But what, you say Thom because that's how he spells it.
Because they wrote me once saying that Thom is ready for you. Okay. So Thom, Thom, Thom. Yeah, that's how he spells it. And he's doing my nails. And by the way, people have asked about these little claws I've got going on.
Yeah.
I went from clean girl nails to metallic silver.
Look.
Right now it is. And you guys, all it is, so many people ask, you want to just get a silver polish underneath. I do a silver dip. And then you want them disco ball aluminum silver. Because they will sometimes give you a muted one, and that's not going to do it. You need the one that just shines bright. Okay. So I'm with Tom, and my spot at his like little office, his spot in the nail salon, I have a perfect view of people coming and going because I'm not the window of, and I think is it on Grand? It's on Grand. So there's a lot of foot traffic. And yesterday I decided that I'm going to just smile at everyone who I make contact with, because sometimes I just make eye contact with them and they're looking at me and I'm looking at them. And I was so surprised at how many people smiled back.
Oh, I was so glad that was the response.
Yes, it was a beautiful, the majority of people just gave a smile back, and it was kind of like flirting with strangers.
Oh, flirting with strangers. I think that there's nothing stranger than walking past a person and not changing your face to a smile. Seriously, let's pretend we're walking past each other right now and not smile. All right?
Look, they stroked out.
Come on, use those muscles. God gave them to you for a reason.
Oh my God. I was smiling at like little kids. One guy stopped and kind of had like a moment. He and I just kind of locked eyes. An older gentleman. No, he just stopped and then he just watched me get my nails
he took it in
for like 15 seconds. And I was like, okay, it was just a friendly
All right, now
smile.
I'm calling the police. I'm sorry I smiled.
But he sat over there and smoked a cig. And then I remembered smoking cigs and got jealous a little bit.
Yeah, don't.
No, I won't. I'm good. But something is happening when I'm getting my nails done. I don't know if it was okay. So yesterday I also did something that I don't usually do before I get my nails done. Yesterday was a really hard day with Luna. And she's not toddlers. I think they just kick your ass.
They do.
What the fuck?
They do.
Oh my God.
Never been more mentally drained than when I had a toddler.
I have to work on like my anger. I have to work on my don't react. I see this one where it's like, if you want your toddler or child to be able to handle their emotions, you should be able to do as well. And I'm like, okay, that's a great reminder.
It is, but they're going to break you.
I want to punch a hole in the wall.
Yeah. And you know what? You might just actually do that.
And she, I know I might.
Or maybe just squeeze her arm not too hard, but just come on, Luna. And chip a tooth.
I might. I can't play around with chip teething because I will literally lose a veneer. So there's no chip.
Yeah, be careful.
Tipping.
We don't want you to Lloyd Christmas.
Yeah, chipping here. No. Mm-mm. So, anyways, I decided to take an edible before I went and hit up Tom, and I took a 5-to-1. The one of 5-to-1s.
3 cheers.
Amazing. But at one point, I was getting my nails done, and as he was filing them, now I had all the polish off, so it was just my nude nail, I started gagging.
Why?
I was like, because the thought,
I hate it. There's got to be a different, more toxic way to take the nail polish off.
The polish was off. Remember, this is just a nude nail. He's just shaping my nails. I'm thinking because they're so thin that he's like, it's getting like nerve endings.
Yep.
And
I have it on every nail.
I was gagging, like retching. I was like, oh my God, this is a new phenomenon. So yeah, between gags, I was smiling at strangers. But I will tell you, taking that little gummy to relax during this letdown of the day, not like letting it down, letting it release, was a really good move.
I don't think that there's anything you could do less relaxing than. Did that make sense? No,
I got it. No, I know.
You know what I mean.
I know what you were saying.
It's a great move. Nothing bad can come from that choice. You know.
No, I just had and it just I'm kind of surprised by the gag, but you know what? I think it's because I have layers of like super glue and powder on my fingers. So when he gets to the rawness of my nails, it's just sensitive.
Well, I can't even show you my nails because I've relapsed to a nail biting phase that is so bad.
Oh no, Michelle. Is this while you're meat riding Caitlin? You're nervous? So you're like,
no, I'm not nervous at all. I don't actually get nervous 1 second for her. She is a freaking
that's so badass.
But no, I just took them off because similar to you, it had been a steady, probably year, 9 to 12 months of no chips, and the damage is real, and the nail bed is thin.
It takes a long time to recover.
The nail bed is thin, and it was getting to the point where like the nail was like peeling underneath like the actual no chip. So I'd have like a no chip, but then
were you ripping off your no chips?
Though? No, okay, no, I was not. I was being really good about it.
Yeah,
but I am to the point where I need to wear like I need to walk around with my hands like this because I don't want anybody to see my hands.
You've got little nubs.
I do. They're not. It's not good. It's not.
No, it's not. But mine are. So I'll take over.
Yours look really good.
And I did black toes.
I've embarrassed myself enough today by sharing the picture of me kayaking on Instagram.
It's not going to show that. It's not you.
You're right.
It's mom. I mean, listen, I've never seen mom. If they ever do like, some sort of Dateline or research, and we're going to talk a little bit more about death in a little bit.
We are
because don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're good. Because if they were ever like looking for people, like has your loved one come through your camera, like maybe showed up in the background of a photo or something, or like, you have a newborn and then like, oh my God, grandma's shadows in the back. No, with yours, you're going to be like, this might be the first of its kind. But my mom actually she became me.
I was thinking
you literally
about it.
Look like mom on her deathbed.
You know what? And I do. And I was literally thinking, I've thought a lot about this. In fact, I had to reflect. I had to reflect deeply about my reaction because, I mean, I told you guys, we laughed so hard when we saw it. But honestly, I mean, we were dying. But then I went through the stages, and Go ahead. And the next stage was like I went kind of into a pretty quick state of depression. And I think what the reason for my instant sadness was because it was it reminded me of how weak and frail our mom was.
Yes, well,
and
that's sad.
That was sad, and how much I looked like her was like the part that was freaking me out. But then I got angry at the kayaking tour guide, and then I moved on from that to just acceptance. But I think that the thing that should be celebrated here is the fact that is just a picture, and just a bad freaking picture. And as my friend St. Jude said, oh, they done you dirty, which they did.
They did do you dirty.
They did me dirty. But really, I've been working my ass off in the gym, and I am very proud of.
You had nothing to worry about. It's a bad picture. I'm going to show you a photo right now. This is what I was doing. I have a photo of myself that I took shortly. Oh, I was pregnant. I was probably like, I don't even know how pregnant I was, but I was pregnant.
Clearly, I haven't worked through my emotions.
I mean, you literally just had like a full on therapy session about it. You're like, I've been really working out. We know, Michelle, you're good. Don't worry about it. And I was with we were on our ski trip, and I was with the two girlfriends of mine, Karen and Elizabeth, were on this trip. And we took a group photo, and I set up my camera, do the timer, and I stepped back and I got the photo, and I was like, oh my God, you guys, this is not good. This is such a bad situation
What?
right now. And they're like, what? Remember, I really felt, I felt so good being pregnant. I felt like I felt like a goddess, like a pregnant.
You were like a goddess.
I felt like it.
I felt like you were.
Thank you. I loved being pregnant. And this photo reminded me that I'm not a goddess. I'm not. So just remember, look at this. This is what I send them every year. Never forget.
How close were you to having the baby?
Not that close. This was in February.
You must have had a lot of salt the night before.
I had maybe a little salty. And I was wearing like unitards like the night before. I was like pulling like a Rihanna. And then this photo snapped me right back into reality. So every year we go on a ski trip, I send it to my friends. Never forget. And they say, oh my God, I was hoping you would resend this.
That is hysterical.
And I will post this. On our stories. It's just a reminder that cameras are just lies. Sometimes even when it's a really good photo.
Totally.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
What are you drinking? Some cold coffee.
Cold coffee. Cold Lavazza. Americano, baby.
Okay, you guys, there's just a few more days until you can buy our merchandise. I mean, like you can still buy it, but it's going to close down on April 14th. So get with the program, okay? Listen, I'm wearing the teeny time because actually we are recording right now on a Friday. And it is indeed Martini Friday.
Martini Friday.
I'm so freaking excited. Don't mind me. I'm just lowering my standing desk because that's what I can do with this cool.
That's so badass.
Lower and lift. The teeny time is one of my favorites. This is okay. So let's talk favorites for a second. This is one of my favorites. It's got that old school college wear sweatshirt to it. I'm wearing a size large and it's just right to the point.
Yeah.
Teeny time. I honestly think we need to make one that says meet rider. Like I'm an ass kisser.
That one's not going to sell. I can tell you right now. It's not.
But teeny time does, and it will. This is for anyone who sips a martini, whether it's an espresso martini. Love those. Whether it's a Vesper martini.
What's a Vesper martini?
I'm not 100% positive, but I think it's gin and vodka.
Okay.
Oh, that's the one that Anthony drank when he barfed on my 40th.
Did he have more than one?
Michelle, he had a Vesper martini. He had maybe one or two glasses of Sauvignon Blanc. And he topped off the night.
What was he thinking?
Oh, and then so much red wine.
What was he thinking? He had a look in his eye. He was celebrating.
We were on vacation.
You were living it up. You know what? That's what I love about him. He barfs. You know what?
In the sink.
Oh my God! When you were taking it out with your
hands and towels. Oh my God!
I can't. What a mother!
I couldn't even be mad
because he was wasted.
Because I go to the place where I hope he's going to be okay, and like, what if he's got alcohol poisoning? You know,
probably did that night.
No, he didn't. That was cannabis and liquor, and that's why you never mix.
You don't mix.
Not like that. Don't. Listen, sometimes I'll take like a little nibble and have my
bottle
martini,
of beer or something.
Maybe a beer.
Yeah.
But all that booze and then they cap it off.
You're asking for it.
Barf City.
Yeah, you'll never have cannabis again.
Or that will be like
alcohol.
You'll come to one of our events. You'll be like, this one time.
It'll be the event that you say, I'm never doing. You know, when we say that, you know,
I'm never doing it. I'm never drinking it. Yeah, no. Oh, it's so bad. But anyways, back to teeny time. This is the sweatshirt for me. I live in it. It's chunky, and I love these panels that kind of separate. You can't really tell in the video, but it kind of separates the back from the front. It's just roomy.
Collegiate.
What about you? What is your favorite?
Okay, I stole Ryan's. Well, I don't have a favorite. I freaking love them all, and I have been living in everything since it arrived. But today I'm sporting Ryan's Cozy AF crew neck, and you guys, his is a large. It's way too big for me. It's just too long, and it's too whatever.
Again, Michelle, you're teeny tiny.
I know. I'm teeny.
What would you get? A small or medium?
I would probably get a small because I just like the feeling of, I think maybe, I don't know. But it's
okay.
Cozy,
both of ours are unisex sizes. So though, you know, I always size, well, in this case, I'm sizing up because I'm finding I like it bigger and roomier, but you might size down. It's so cute with our sister project logo right on the frickin' sleeve. Dreams do come true,
baby.
People. Dreams do come true. You know, I just wanted to write something, you know, I just wanted to mention something. So speaking of like shopping, you know, shopping for merch, you know, listen, our online prices are as they appear. That's the price, people. And you go on shoplemonade.com. Now, if you're shopping at Old Navy, for instance, like I'm taking Luna a lot to Old Navy because she grows so fast.
Do you find stuff for her there?
so cute. They have elevated their cuteness. Yes.
Because it was always too boxy for
their
my very
onesies are
narrow
very
children.
wide. Their onesies are too wide. You guys shrink them. But they've got very cute clothes. So I'm like, I'm looking, and I went to go look up something online to see if they had it in her size. And there was like a $10 discrepancy between the product in my hands and the product that I was looking at the online store.
Are you paying a premium for shopping in store?
I don't know. So I asked the guy, I was like, I'm noticing and I've known this about them before. This is nothing new with Old Navy. I just was reminded of it. And I'm looking at the prices, and I asked him, I'm like, how can I price match? He's like, you basically have to, you can do it here or go home. And fine, I'll go through the internet, look. And I did it because I was like, I'm just so curious.
So how much did you save?
Paid almost, no, I didn't save anything. I still have to go do it. But based on my little going back and forth and looking, almost $60 to $80.
Oh my God.
That's a big price difference. It's not like $5, $10, $50, $20. It's a lot. So you guys shop online at Old Navy if you ever do, because their prices are so much cheaper online. I don't know
how
why.
that's allowed. That seems weird. You have to work harder to buy it for the better price at the same store. Now that just pisses me off.
Isn't it annoying? It's like Michelle. I was just looking at my note, and I was like, you wanted to talk about body picking, and you were just about to pick your nails.
I've been doing it it's a problem. I need to just go back and get the nail polish put on, because that's the only cure to not doing it.
Do you ever get the nail polish that tastes like crap?
Yeah, Anthony, I peel it off. I peel it off
so that you can get to the main event.
It's really not the nail that's the problem.
What's the problem?
It's the cuticle.
Oh, so wow. What are you picking? What are you biting? What are you biting
Just
on?
Anything I can get my big chompers on.
And see, your teeth are all yours. They're real.
Yeah.
So I can't play around with biting
Except
on things.
I've bumped into a microphone about 300 times, and I'm waiting for the day that I whack it and I look over at Seamus and I've got a half a tooth.
That too. Or no. We want to keep, your teeth are beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Listen, I want to talk about something interesting that my friend Devin, loyal listener and now content contributor, has brought to my attention. So she just got back from a beautiful trip. She's hopped over to Mexico. I miss Mexico so fucking much. I miss it. I miss the smell, the vibe, it's unmistakable.
And you get it as soon as you get into the airport.
Yeah, you're there. You're in Mexico, and life is good.
It's true.
It's so good.
Where was the last place you were in Mexico?
I was in Cabo for my sister-in-law's wedding, and we went to Todos Santos, which is you fly into Cabo, and then you drive an hour to this small village, and I cannot recommend it high enough. You are actually it's more of a small town and village. It's not touristy. It's top notch. It's just, you feel, it's just such a different experience. What about you?
Love it. I'm trying to think. I think it was Isla Mujeres. I think that's the last.
You've been there a couple times, no?
I have. I've been there twice. Yeah. With friends both times. And then from there directly to Betty Ford is where we went. Yeah.
Oh my God.
A quick trip. Quick one, too.
Wow. Did you guys hit it hard there?
Listen, I thoroughly enjoy traveling with my friends, but I think my sweet spot with traveling with friends is like the ladies, the big couples excursions.
It's wild,
it's like a
party.
never ending drinking. We were just talking about one of the dinners we went to. Everybody was we were at a very nice restaurant. We had this rooftop. Our friend Brian Blattner brought in his boombox. He brought it into the restaurant from our hotel.
Why did he have a boombox?
So we could have some dinner music. People were sleeping at the table.
I have fallen asleep at a table once after a long bender of a week. I'm in my 20s.
I mean,
in Napa.
Beyond
sleeping
wasted.
like losers. Get
had
life.
No business being out in public.
Go to bed. Why are you at dinner? You can't even eat. It's done. It's
no
over.
one ate.
Game
and
over.
We ordered everything on the menu.
And no one could eat.
Whole fish, all the things.
Yum.
And we were speak English to our friends across the way, because they were not making
They don't
sense.
even know English at this point. Mexico is, you were saying you guys were drinking. Oh no, I went to Cabo when I was pregnant, so I couldn't drink. So I had them but listen, this is such a great, mix it into if you're drinking or if you're on like a Mexico vacay, they have the Heineken Zeros and you ask them to make a chelada. So lemon or lime juice, and then they salt the rim and you feel like you're drinking a beer, like kind of like a
what's the difference between a chelada and a michelada?
Michelada has like the clamato and
I don't like that. I don't
it's
like
my
that.
favorite.
No,
it's my favorite drink.
No.
Oh, it's like a salsa and a beer all at once.
I would rather what were we all drinking at your wedding? We were drinking beer.
You were drinking Hurricanes.
What was that again?
Isn't that a daiquiri? No,
a daiquiri.
It's a margarita with
with
Corona
beer.
topped on top
now
of it.
That strangely went down
Of course, it was probably so refreshing. My wedding was fun.
So fun.
That was a fun, but you said you were struggling a little bit because of mom.
I was that time period leading up to that, shopping for a dress.
Yeah, you're
mom.
right. That was hard.
I wanted to crawl into a hole, suck my thumb in the corner and call it a day. And then also, like being a mom to 5-year-olds at the time.
So
it was
hard,
really
Michelle.
Hard,
wow,
dude.
You went through a lot. Damn.
It was a lot. But we can handle it because we're freaking warriors.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. Cheers to that.
Cheers to us.
Okay, let's round it back to Devin. So she gets back. We're just round it back always. She's talking about, we're just catching up and we're talking. She's talking about cereal. She's just sharing something about the cereal that she found. She found that on the boxes of like Fruit Loops, for instance, because like at a buffet, you can like grab for the kids and whatnot. And the kids want a buffet. And she noticed that on the boxes are big round like alerts, like alert, excessive, it says in Spanish, but it says excessive sugar and excessive calories. And I was like, shit, I don't think that they do that here. That's not,
no,
we don't get warnings like that, like cigs, right? Like I remember when I was starting to quit cigs, I went to, I think it was Australia, where they have on their cigarette packs, like what a cancerous lung looks like. Like it's
really
a photo.
Scary.
Oh, it's grotesque. It's so morbid and scary. And it really, if you're ready for it, if you're looking to quit, seeing that will kind of do it for you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is what I'm doing to my insides. And so, I find it so interesting that other countries are willing to share some of this important information. But here, it's just like, eat all the shit and good luck.
Well, how about that? It's eat all the shit. It's also like the farming here in the United States, the products that they use, like Roundup and glyphosate.
Wait, tell me more. What's that? What's
Roundup? Is the pesticide that is basically monopolized the growing industry and sprayed over everything, which leaks into our dirt, which is on all of our food, which we all eat, which is absolutely horrible for you. And it's not allowed in other places. There are things that's like, haven't you ever heard people talk about when they go to Italy who have gluten intolerances in the United States?
They never have
they
the same
go
problems.
there and they don't have any sort of digestive issues when they eat pasta from Italy. It's because everything is poison. So I don't know. It's so I when I was a new mom, I went down the rabbit hole of food because I really wanted to try to feed my kids the best I could. I made all of their food. I wasn't like a hardcore, but I really took special care into that. And so I learned so many things. And it's like, that's like, I always joke with with our sister Andrea, because we always joke and say, we know too much because we know the dirty secrets about all of the crap that's allowed here.
I try to do with Luna myself, like everything like in moderation. Like she has a couple go-to snacks that I give her that if I look into the rabbit hole, they're probably not great.
Like Mia lived on Cheerios. Do you know how bad those are?
Yeah, like that's something we don't just have for whatever reason. That's okay though. I mean, listen, she seems to be doing fine, right? But no, I agree with you. It's like, and I try to just give her what we eat, she eats, and then I make modifications and whatnot to the best of our ability. But even salmon, we were getting her this amazing salmon that she loved from Costco. And then one day I was like, wait a second, I didn't even fucking check. Is this farm or wild caught? Sure enough. It's farm. So now I go and get her the stupid expensive one from Whole Foods because that's her main intake of any sort of like fish or meat. We don't really eat meat. She doesn't really. So that's like her one thing. And salmon's great for her. And so I switched it over. But you got to be on it to catch this shit.
You do. You want to, and you also have to be like, if you want to actually try at any attempt to be putting good whole food into your body, you have to eat around the store. And you
It's
better
so true.
be wealthy because it ain't cheap to do that. So,
the amount of money I
the
spend on
the
groceries,
cost to afford
it's
to
sad.
eat well
Yeah,
in
in
our
this
country is heart-wrenching. It's
I
not
know.
fair. It should be accessible to everybody. And I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent
That's
here,
okay.
but I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You want to know what else is ridiculous and kind of ruining food for me? Have you seen the TikToks where they're taking slides of a hot dog, taking slides of a piece of salmon,
When you
taking
say
slides
slides, do you mean
on a petri
slices?
and putting it
I'm gonna throw up.
underneath a
No, no.
microscope?
So you're saying like a
You
microscopic
will
look at it.
never eat anything
Okay.
again. You'll
Ugh.
never eat again.
Okay, can you
You'll
not?
never eat
You said
again.
hot dog. I'm like, whatever. I don't eat hot dogs. But
Hot
then you moved
dog,
on to salmon.
pork, salmon.
Okay, I can't.
Don't. Do yourself a favor.
Why do we
And
do that?
I don't know. I thought
not
you were looking
cozy.
stuff up because I was like, it's not cozy.
I did not look that up.
I was like, is she
No,
looking into petri dishes
no.
now?
Oh, golly, vom.com, baby.
Vom.com.
Vom.com.
The
Yeah,
food
well,
situation is dire.
yeah, and I think it's just important. Listen, when we were growing up, we had that goddamn food pyramid, right? And it was just like, eat a lot of bread, white bread. Like I was like, this pyramid's bullshit.
And that was because there was a white man who owned a bread company who wanted to sell a shitload of bread.
Exactly. And I think we're just getting to a place where there's a lot of talking heads out there telling you what you should and shouldn't do. And it's important to just be mindful. I think it does matter what kind of shit you put in your body. I'm a firm believer. I come from a heavy yoga background where like when I dove into yoga, it was like be vegan and drink kombucha and water and that's it. And obviously that's not my lifestyle, but back then I was kind of at your place. I know a little too much. And I just, it's just, and then once you start, and then you get older for me and it's like, I'm not just a yogi, but I take some of that into my lifestyle. Right. And now I've got to be mindful of my brain health. And what I'm learning, which is so fascinating,
is to drink olive oil.
Just to drink olive oil and water and eat and gobble up berries and
walk your ass off.
Leafy greens. And that's for someone like me. And if you want to fall in that bucket with me, we're mindful of that stuff. And then I'm starting to learn how detrimental, and I know this already, but sugar is because not only I used to think like, oh, well, sugar is just bad for you because it can make you gain weight. No, now at this point in my life, sugar can put me into another category of health issues like diabetes. And then diabetes plays a role in my brain health.
Yep.
And it's like, all this stuff is domino.
Have you been reading Outlive?
No, but I've known, this is the kind of stuff I pick up, from all the wonderful brain health people I follow on Instagram and the newsletters I get, and learning about the Mediterranean and mind diet. So it really kind of, it gets me when you hear things like, it doesn't matter what you eat, just because it kind of does. Because it's either medicine or poison.
It's 100%.
And listen, I love a good pastry and it's moderation, but that kind of shit can really play a role later in life. And that's where my behavior and relationship where food comes in. It's like, how does this play a role with my brain? Those are I'm past the point of being like, like having this great fit body, like pre-baby, because I just work on myself the best I can. So now it's gone to a different mode of concentration. Like this is about like the longevity of my cognitive health.
Totally.
Where all that shit plays a role.
I feel the same way.
So violent how they fucking give us food that is poison.
Not food.
It's not food. It's made up. Food.
If it's in a box, it's it's true. I mean,
it's true.
Oh no, my battery just died on my new ring light.
Oh my God. I'm like, on what? Oh no. On your new ring light. You just bought that, baby.
I know. It ain't going to work. It don't matter. Anyway.
So anyways, that's just something I found interesting. Then they were talking on the Today Show yesterday about, like the anti-diet movement. And yeah, I'm not a dieter. I never have been. I've never gone on one diet.
Do you think that that's because we had a mom who was a yo-yo dieter? And I actually did diet with her back in the day when she would, I went to Weight Watchers with a couple of times.
Weight Watchers,
I honestly cabbage soup, Jenny Craig, NutraFast, you name the diet.
What's the other one?
She did them all.
Okay,
Seattle Sutton, did she do that? Is that a diet?
Seattle Sutton.
Literally. And I know a lot of our friends, moms that did this stuff. I think that I saw our mom struggle with her weight. So I did it to be sort of an accountability partner for her.
Sure,
I was doing it to her and lose a couple couple pounds, but I was like, this is not for me. And I never really have been that kind of a person, just figured out how to eat right and stay in line with, whatever.
No, for me, I don't think it's so much about like experiencing it, maybe subconsciously, but for me, I am very drawn to whole produce. I'm very drawn to more that's just, I have always been that way. I'm obsessed with oranges. Like when I want something sweet, I get one of those goddamn sumo oranges and I'm dragging it through yogurt.
See, you're better. That's my biggest vice is the sweet.
Well, why do you think when I come over to your house, I'm like, give me something sweet? I don't have anything in my house.
It's so hard with the kids too, because they have all of this crap. Like, it's so hard.
Yeah. So I feel like it's just something that's where I find that, like there's just so much noise. There's really good, important noise. And then you got to weed through some of that stuff. I think it's all in moderation. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this at all. And I think what really puts me into the idea of is that my mom died of dementia. That mom plays a role when it comes to just me being really cognizant of the food I'm putting in me at this point in my life.
Totally.
Really interesting stuff out there. Yeah. So just, I guess my big beef is why here? Why in the best country in the world? But are we not able to let people know how shitty the food is for us?
Because it's all about the money, honey.
It is all about the money.
It's all about the money.
It's it's not the best country in the world when it comes to like longevity and maternal care or postpartum care and care for elders. It's about how you can get rich.
It's about how you can get rich.
A get rich country.
And if you aren't,
and then if you're rich, then you can get all that good postpartum care. And you don't have to worry about maternity leave.
Exactly.
But if you ain't rich and you're eating shit, you might find yourself in some deep water.
One of my old work wives that I worked with forever, she just texted me that it's her son's 23rd birthday. And I said, I actually remember the day that he was born.
I know
and
who you're talking about. And I remember.
And I said, and I actually remember the day before he was born when you were still working. What the fuck are we doing in this world?
What are we doing? Moms should be getting pampered a week before
treated
their baby
like
comes.
A queen.
A goddess.
Because that's what we are. Thank you.
I like that. Nice job. Snap.
Thank you.
Whatever. I was going to clap or something.
I don't know. Snap. You got,
Snap.
Sorry, you tried.
All right, let's transition. Reading, watching, listening to. You guys, I'm still on The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I fall asleep every night reading to it in the best way, not in the bored way.
That's the best.
I try to keep my eyes open for one more line because here's what's going on. There was an inappropriate student-teacher relationship here happening. So now I'm having dreams about inappropriate relationships.
Amazing how that happens to you. That does not. I don't
inappropriate. And I can feel it. I can feel do you want to know how fucked up my dreams are? I can feel the temptation of an affair in my dream.
What?
Yes, I said that.
Dirty little bird.
It's not, but nothing sexy happens. It's just like someone will come in and it's someone, I sometimes know them, sometimes don't. It's usually a gentleman caller and they find their way into my dream and they're tempting me. Last night in my dream, I was at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where I'm going next month with my girlfriends. Cannot wait. Have you ever been to Jackson Hole?
No, I've never
been.
We're
going Western, baby.
Fun.
Yeah, this is an homage. This is a pilgrimage.
What are you going to do? Are you guys going skiing, spawn? What are we doing?
No, man, we're not going skiing. This is all about maybe horseback riding. Going to some kind of like pubs that have like cowboy boots.
Hopefully the photos of the people taking them will give you guys fair warning while you're galloping through the country, the wilderness.
But last night, if my premonition and dreams come true, I will have a gentleman caller in Wyoming looking to steal my heart. But I'm going to say no, of course. But that's what happened to my dream last night because of the book I'm reading.
That is, you know what, listen, the book I'm reading right now is darling and charming and heartwarming.
Is it good?
Yes, it's really cute. It's The Museum of Ordinary People. I picked it up yesterday. I'm like 30 pages in and it was just the lighthearted novel I needed after finishing The Women. This is a story about a woman whose mom recently dies and she goes back to clear up all of her things and she finds herself with a set of encyclopedias and she doesn't know what to do with them, but she doesn't want to get rid of them because she's attached to them.
Been there, done that.
And then she discovers the Museum of Ordinary People and that's where I am right now.
Okay,
it's
amazing.
Really cute.
Keep us posted. Okay, that seems like a nice, easy read. The ones that I never am drawn to, but I'm loving that you're loving it.
And also, like, I really am connecting with this person in this experience. I'm like, yeah, I totally been there. That's so weird. I remember when I got rid of after a year some weird stuff that I held on to, like
totally.
Anybody that's experienced death
Loss
of a parent in that way. Yeah.
This reminds me of that Christmas book I read at Christmas time, something I would never read, Merry and Bright, or some Big City, Big Lights. And it was just like the perfect palate cleanser for a busy holiday season.
But something to pass the time. Yes. Feel good, but still keep your attention.
Super into it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So watching, I know you are watching Caitlin Clark's C Squared.
Tonight at 8:30, baby. Yeah. Can't wait.
So we'll see what will happen tonight. And then is this the final four? So
this is the final four. So she's playing UConn tonight, and then she'll go hopefully to the championship. And I guess they lost last year in the championship to LSU.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And I just love what LSU's coach said about Caitlin Clark. She's like, I have never seen anything like it before, and I just can't wait to see her go.
Then that's her opposing team. Her opposing team coach said that.
For her, yes.
Yeah, that is incredible.
She's just a phenom. It's just amazing.
Is that the woman that wears those badass suits?
Yeah, that's the one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she wears like the feathers and like the sparklies.
She's cool. I don't know anything about her. I don't even know her name. All I know is suits. And I saw her in there was something going on in the news. I'll have to look into it. She made some headlines for something she said maybe or something.
Yeah, I don't recall. And some old players have come back and said some not nice things about her as well.
I have no idea.
Is her personal. She owns her personal brand, which is looks like she should be on a New Orleans float at all times.
I love that. Right on. And you're also watching the Vikings.
Yes. I don't know why I haven't watched this series. There's, I think, 6 seasons. And Ryan and I just picked it up. And it's about Ragnar, who is a Viking. Ragnar.
Is he hot?
He's not as hot as the gentleman that played Uhtred in a different warrior Dark Ages show that I was obsessed with. But I don't know. I've got a thing for the filthy, dirty Dark Ages, and I really do the
smelliness, the way they must. And I bet they were eating well back then. I feel like they were eating really well.
They were eating well.
Not so much processed food back then.
Not a single bit. A single bit.
No, also, they were dying of other things. They probably
pagans.
had major STDs though.
Yeah, I'm sure they did because there's a lot of orgies and there's a lot of group sex.
No, not into it.
Spouses having threesomes.
Golly, there's a lot of STDs back then.
So many. I mean, I believe that chlamydia took down a whole Viking town like the plague.
What's the bad one? Chlamydia will get you, but there's that one with the
syphilis.
Syphilis. That's the bad. I think that one killed the king back in the day.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh,
gross.
Man.
But Run, Don't Walk. It's strangely cozy. I don't know what else to say there.
I can see that. Dude, listen, I'm rewatching the Pen 15 series on Hulu. If you were in grade school or a young teenager in the 90s, mid to late 90s, this show is for you. It has your name written all over it. I cry laughing at these two women. It's Anna and Maya.
And they're aren't they in their 30s?
They're in their 30s and they're playing teenagers. And there's
aren't they playing middle schoolers?
Yes, they're playing
junior
7th and 8th graders. It is one of the best shows out there. It's so relatable. Some of the moments that they do, I'm I lived that. I experienced exactly what they are talking about. So I'm really grateful that they are bringing. It's so nostalgic.
For me, it's just the haircut of the one.
The haircut.
The haircut for the one
haircut. Yeah,
unbelievable.
That's Maya. And it also addresses serious issues. A couple serious issues that you come across being that age is when you kind of start. I remember one of the episodes I just watched was about they're kind of picking on Maya because she's Asian, she's Japanese, and they're saying how different she is. So they give her a different role in the school play, and it's actually borderline racist what's going on with her friend group. And you just start to and it kind of brings you back to what you may have thought or said when you were younger and not realizing. And then also divorce, so breakup of families, which is yesterday I was laughing, crying, and then I actually lump and throat tears because there's a divorce and it's just so sad.
Especially at that time too.
Exactly.
It's so hard
age.
to navigate all of that stuff and then layer on real life challenges.
Yes.
Yeah. Totally.
So it's a wonderful show. Okay, Michelle, I have to dive in real quickly about the the podcast episode called, it's the Ologies podcast. And the one that I listened to randomly yesterday was the study of near-death experiences. Mom's 5-year anniversary is coming up of her death. And I just saw the topic. There were so many. Speaking of STDs, crabs, that was one of the ologies I could have tuned into to learn more about crabs and their behavior and molting.
Are you
just
talking
regular crabs?
I was going to say, what type of crab are we covering?
We're probably talking sea crabs from the ocean.
Got it.
But this one was remarkable. Let me just take you real quick how this happened. This man, I forget his name, just listen to the podcast. He's a doctor. He's a proper doctor and scientist. And he came from a household where his father was also, I think he was a chemist. Very science minds. They were secular. They had no belief in the afterlife. This was you die and you get buried and the earth eats you up. And that's what kind of family and beliefs they had. No big deal. And so he became a doctor in his life. And then one day he was, helping these 2 roommates, these girls. They had overdosed, whether it was accidental or it was whatever it was. They had overdosed. They were in the hospital. These two young ladies, and one of the women was laying unconscious, like in a coma, whether it was medically induced or not, I don't know, but she was not able to hear, see, whatever. And so he had gone in, checked her vitals, checked up on the story, whatever, and then went down the hallway and spoke with her roommate. He had a very long conversation. She was awake. He had a very long conversation with her. What happened? Let's talk about what was ingested, etc., whatever. The other woman eventually wakes up. And so he walks back into her room at another day or time and is like, listen, I'm Dr. So-and-so. And she stops him and she's like, I know who you are. I've met you. And he's like, we have not met yet. You've been from all signs and vitals. You were unconscious. He was bewildered. He was like, wait, what? He was flabbergasted. And she's like, wait a second. And then she goes into a story and tells him how she was sitting in on the entire conversation he had with her roommate. I know this sounds fluffy and woo-woo. We're talking about a man of facts here. Okay,
listen,
this man
I'm here for it.
Okay,
I've had my own spiritual experiences.
Okay,
so.
So he
not
is
near death, but you know what I mean.
I know. Okay, so he like that photo where mom appeared. So he
exactly.
So he starts asking her questions, and she's starting to tell him things she would not know unless she had been in the room. So he's like, oh my God, there's something, there has to be something. So he stops what he's doing in life and he reroutes his entire focus and research of his scientific career and doctoral career on near-death experiences. And my jaw was dropping. He's talking about people who have left their bodies during quadruple bypass surgeries and have watched the surgical procedure on them from above and
describe the things.
Describe funny moments. Like he'll be like, you get people that are like, well, they were wearing green scrubs. Well, everyone's wearing. But he told the story, and it's too long, so I won't tell it, about a certain behavior a doctor performs before a surgery. It's something he does almost kind of like a ritual before he goes and does a very serious surgery like this. And the patient saw it. And then he went and talked to the doctor. And he's like, yeah, that's kind of funny because I don't really talk about that, but this is something I do before a surgical procedure. So it kept going on and on. What he says is that, also to be noted that, there are 2 psychedelics that can bring you closest to this euphoric near-death experience.
Is one of them ketamine?
It is the first one. That is the top one is ketamine. Which one day I have a friend, an expert that knows about it, and we shall get her on to talk about ketamine. You know who you are. And basically, people have been using this to treat depression and other things, or people who are terminal.
Trauma.
Now, the next one is psilocybin is the next one that will get you. So we're talking ketamine, which I think is more man-made, then psilocybin is a mushroom. It comes from mushrooms.
Which, by the way, the Vikings were snacking on those too.
Again, they probably had great mental health. Oh, they probably had a time. What a
one
time
of the
to be
guys
alive.
went to a dark place, but everybody else was just
what a time to be be alive. Orgies and psilocybin. No judgment either. Everyone's just doing it.
Free loving. They were like hippies.
Right.
The Vikings were the first original hippie.
It sounds a little bit like it. So these people who have near-death experiences basically find themselves in a moment of utter peace. There's no panic. They are at one with what is about to happen. And somehow they come back, and some of them meet dead loved ones. Some see deities. One of the questions was, are these very religious people who experience this? The answer to that was, in his case, no. These are just people, and some are religious, but it's not like just heavily religious people that follow a faith.
You don't have to believe in something to have these experiences.
Yeah, no, a lot of people come back and actually don't even become more religious. They become more spiritual. They become more in touch. And one of the most profound feelings that they have upon return is compassion and empathy for other people. He says people usually will start dedicating their lives to help people because it's just, they feel like the human experience, we're all the same. We are one of the same. That's how people come back. It's really, it's an incredible listen. I highly recommend it. It'll blow your mind.
It already has, and I haven't even listened to it yet. That's, I have a good friend that has almost, I'm so like compelled to ask friends that have experienced really scary health crisis, like
if they've had some sort of close call. He says that people who have had close, like the near death NDEs, he calls them for short, that they come back, and what happens, he interviews them in times years later, like 10 years later, then again 20 years later. And he said the memory of an NDE doesn't fade. Nothing changes about it. They can tell it as if it just happened to them. Like where memories typically fade over time, or you kind of get foggy with factual things that happened, if a big situation happened, that he's like, it's just ingrained in them. It is just something that is just, it's fact for them.
Did he talk at all about some people that came back from these experiences that super struggled to re-enter into the world? Like I've heard stories about people that have come back from near-death experiences that felt like nobody understood them, and they got very, like, they slipped into depression because it was like this experience that they couldn't share with anybody because nobody could connect, because who comes back from almost dying?
Well, whoever those people are, like, literally need to find this man, because the people he's talking to, they don't quite have that experience. He does say that our English language can't even tell, we can't put into words. So it's going along with what you're saying. We can't even explain.
There's not words
what this was
attached
like
to what that's like. That's crazy.
So I can see that would be very frustrating to be like, this happened to me. And you're like, I can't quite explain it. But I want to tell a quick story that, ketamine, they give it to cat, like I think they give it to like cats or something at a vet, or the nickname for it is either like cat or kitty or Special K. It's Special K.
Special K is what I remember from you.
Cat, for some reason, cats are kind of like a mascot for ketamine. And I was at Lollapalooza many years ago with my giant sign of Egon's head. It was my way of keeping all my friends together, and it worked very well. Like if you saw Egon's head, you knew where I was. And
people thought you were selling Special K.
I was approached.
Well,
what happened was I'm standing there, and some youngins start like kind of coming over by me.
Were they like,
I'm like, kind of. Kind of. And they were kind of like gravitating towards me. So I'm now thinking they're using my sign to like text their friends, find the cat head. Well, then some kid brave enough comes up to me and he's like, hey, can I get, like, what are you selling your Special K for? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, your sign. So you got some Special K? And I was like, oh, teenager, little man, get back on your, get back on the Burlington Northern and head back to Western Springs.
Oh my God.
I'm not selling Special K. And he goes, that is so rude of you. Like literally that's false advertisement. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I didn't think of what drugs the preteens were doing prior to making my friend sign.
Brilliant cat sign, by the way.
Brilliant.
I've talked to I was talking to a doctor who specializes in ketamine, and his story was really interesting. He talked about how they were first discovered that ketamine was doing something other than treating patients in the ER. These patients, it was on an Indian reservation. Lauren, you were there for this conversation.
I forget. I know who it is. But what were we talking about?
And he was telling us, and I was like, how did you get into this understanding that ketamine was something that was creating more than what you guys were just using for? And he told the story. He worked on an Indian reservation, I think in North Dakota, and they were treating trauma patients in the ER, and ERs on Indian reservations are unfortunately very busy with lots of things happening, from traumatic injuries to what have you. And these Indian patients were coming back to him after they were being treated and saying, what did you give me in the hospital? something is different, or I'm not abusing.
Something about them is different.
They were not abusing alcohol.
It was helping with their addiction.
It was treating their trauma and all these things.
Sure.
And so then slowly he started to study this a little bit more. And then also now this is becoming, it's not mainstream yet, but it's really definitely been talked about.
Yeah, it's a therapy.
It's being utilized.
Yeah, it's really amazing that some of this stuff is coming about now.
And how it is discovered too.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to sound like kind of too hippy dippy woo woo, but it's like and ketamine is different. I don't understand it as much, but I'm more well read on psilocybin. And again, it comes from the earth. There's something there that can be used medicinally to help people who are severely struggling or people who are terminally ill to fear death less. I know that they do that. They have done that, I believe, with ketamine, but psilocybin as well. It gives them a little bit of a boost of, you know what, this is my life, what I've got left of it to live. And I'm not going to live in fear.
Yeah.
And that's the way to be. I almost want to do it just to get rid of some of this health anxiety I've got.
It does creep up, doesn't it?
Yes.
So fun.
Always. It's been much more regulated lately. All right. That's that. So in an effort to wrap things up cohesively, Michelle, what are you doing for some cozy mindful well-being of your own?
I'm back on the bacon, baby. And by bacon, I mean baking. Bacon. You got it.
Yeah.
I came back from vacation, and you come back from your vacation, you kind of like hit the ground running. And so baking wasn't really one of my priorities, but I had been doing it regularly since I started because my family is like, bake us bread, bitch. Anyway, so I'm back to baking. In fact, I'm going to have a loaf coming out tomorrow for the kids. But I wanted to show listeners, if they're curious, what it looks like to have a fed starter and one that's about to peak and a very hungry starter. So what you have right here, guys, is a very, very hungry starter. Basically, this starter cannot be used in like the baking of bread because it won't rise because it doesn't have a rise, right?
Yeah,
there
it's
it
just
is.
like liquid. It's kind of liquidy.
I'm kind of amazed at how hungry this is, but like this starter, I fed it like not long ago, and it's
beautiful,
growing, and it is
stunning,
bubbling, and it's
does it smell sour?
Yeah, it's
probably
almost
my mouth water.
Better since I put my starter in the fridge for the week, which I had not done, and let it just chill because I wasn't going to be able to feed it, and I didn't want to kill it. And when I brought it back and I fed it last night to get it strong again, and then again this morning. And it's just like, it was like burping.
Yeah. She's so like, bubbly. Thank you. Thank you. Have you named it?
Yeah, Trish the dish.
Oh, Trish the dish.
Yeah,
okay.
Remember?
Well, she looks good. She's looking hot.
She's good.
Beautiful. I'm glad you're back to baking because I want some. Please bake me a loaf.
It's so freaking
Not
good.
next week, the week after. Okay, you guys, what I'm doing, I'm so excited. I'm going back to teaching one yoga class a week. Congrats. It's about as all as I can manage. I miss it so much. It's been 2 years, although it feels like it's been a month. That's how.
Really?
Yes, it only feels like it's been a month that I haven't taught, but I cannot even I can't fathom that it's been 2 years. So I'm super excited to get back on the mat, and not and just any studio too. A former student and my friend Val
I just saw the name.
Yeah, she just opened up, it's opening today actually, Half Moon Yoga, which is located in the South Loop. Of course, with the name like Moon in it, it's like here I come. And she's a former student of mine that I had at my class for years. And then we, lost contact during COVID. And I called her up one day, right as her ceiling fell in at her studio. Before her opening.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, and she said she was ready to throw in the towel.
Sucking her thumb in the corner.
And then, we connected. I didn't save the day, but I'm just glad that I can help her. I was able to help have her see some light at the end of the tunnel after her ceiling fell in. But you know what? Fuck all that.
It's all fun and games until the ceiling falls in.
I'm super excited. So every Saturday, you guys, it's called Glow Yoga. It's going to be like a power class, and 9 a.m. on Saturdays. Let's do yoga together. I can't fucking wait. It's been a minute, and I can't wait to get back on the mat.
I can't even imagine how many of your old students are going to catch wind of this, and you're going to see in this.
Can't wait
class.
to see them.
Oh my God! Good for you.
Yeah, I've missed my yoga community, and I need. That is a community that I really cherish, and I've been missing in my life. And it's a community of people that when you've got a whole room of people loving yoga, it's a pretty cool feeling. So I'm excited to get back there. Thank you. So I'll drop the link in the bio, you guys, so you guys can check that out and hopefully come visit me for a class. But until then, until we see you guys again, you know what to do.
Stay cozy, everybody.
Thank you for joining us for today's cozy conversation. For more of The Sister Project, check us out on Instagram at The Sister Proj and our website, www.thesisterprojectblog.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and maybe even drop us a review. Until next time, stay cozy.